Hello and welcome to the 29th PHP tutorial. In last tutorial we discussed how to pull elements from our table in our database, and in this tutorial we're going to discuss how to insert things into a table in a database. So with that, let's go ahead and hop right on in. At the moment our database contains two elements. That would be Harrison, name Harrison, age 99, name Jackie, age 55. So now let's insert a few more elements into this database. So to do that, just like before, we specify some sort of, like what we want the query to contain. So we'll do SQL again, and this query this time we'll do insert into, and then again with the tilde, you give the table name. In our case, it's epic table. And then you specify the values that you want to put into the table. So let's just enter some data in here. Let's say we're going to enter John, and we're going to say John is 88. Now yeah, so we'll do 88. Now what we're going to do next is do an if statement, and so we're going to say if, and then set up our structure. If at query, or at $query, so we're calling this query, equals, and we're putting the @ in there just to silence the error if we get it, equals MySQL underscore query, and within here we put that query, this SQL here. So number SQL is the query, or number $SQL is the one we want to call. If we do that, then we just want to go ahead and echo out success. And then just in case, we'll create an else, and if we don't succeed, we're going to go ahead and echo failed to insert. And after all of this, we're going to go ahead and call a close to the connection. So with that, we'll save it and put it up. Pop over here, refresh, and you see we got a success. So let's go to our database again. Let's load up the epic table, browse, and sure enough, there's John with an age of 88. So let's say now we want to, since this column of data is an integer, that's why we put it in as integer. But now let's say we want to, because you don't want to have to hard code this, that's not very practical. As time goes on, you're not going to do that. You're going to want to stick variables in here. So how do we do that? So now what we're going to want to do is, let's just make a couple variables real quick. So we'll say name equals, and in here we'll say Beth, and then age is going to equal, we'll say Beth is, oops, sorry, we're not going to put that in quotes. Beth is 22. So now our SQL query, every time we call the query, like say we're dynamically generating name and age, like say we have some sort of form and we want to insert name and age into the database. Now we want to insert that as a variable. So how do we do that? Well, what we're going to do is inside the quotes, and they are going to be single quotes within a query. Now normally to put like we were talking about earlier, you'd have to use double quotes to put in a variable, but when we do that, it's not working because it's canceling out our already double quoted statement. So instead you actually just use a single quote, and you can see it bolds it just like it would if it in the other scenario. So first we want to insert name, and then we want to insert age, and it has to be in the order, like the correct order. Like over here you can see the first column is name, the second column is age. So you want to make it in the same order. If you do have a table, like a lot of tables will have a self-incrementing key for ID, if you do have that, you would have 3 values like this, and you would just leave this blank. And since it's a or what's called auto increment, it will automatically fill that one. So you don't really want to insert anything there. But in our case, we just have these 2 columns. So that's what we're going to do, and then everything else stays the same. If this query works, it'll echo success. If not, it'll say failed to insert, and then when it's done, it's going to go ahead and close. So let's save that and see how that works out. refresh. And again, we see success. Let's pop back over to our table. And there we have John, and then we've got Beth at 22. So that's it with inserting into a database via SQL. Will add, however, if you plan to use this maybe with like some sort of forms and submits and all this kind of stuff, I highly suggest you look up proper security procedures for doing this, as there's all sorts of little crafty and manipulative things people can do using what's called SQL injection. So do be careful, make sure you do your research and you understand what you're doing before you do it, especially if you are starting to like harbor people's personal information like username, passwords, or credit card information, and so on. You probably should learn about SQL injection and how to protect against various things. Another good idea is to silence SQL errors like we do here with this @query. So if you get an error, it's not shown to everybody the paths that you're using. So anyway, just be careful, and as always, thank you for watching.